Hello and welcome to the next video of my World's 2023 preview series where we're going to cover CTBC Flying Oyster, otherwise known as CFO, or the Flying Oysters. They're from the PCS. They are the 2 seed at this event. Last year they were the 1 seed for the Pacific Championship Series. Recently, the 2 seed from the PCS have not gotten out of play-ins. The last 2 years, Beyond Gaming was the representative, and both times they could not get to the main stage. In 2020, PSG Talon would, however. Their coach is Aki. Aki is 1-5 over his career as a coach internationally, being the coach of CFO last year in group stage. They were against Genji, RNG, and 100 Thieves, beating 100 Thieves once in that group. This team is older at 23 years old. 2 very young, promising players, but then 3 players that we have seen a couple times now. In the top lane, we have Rest. At 24 years old, I thought Rest was okay at Worlds last year. A bit disappointing given the hype that was around him. This past split in the PCS, he was not overly dominant. 3.5 KDA, 8 CS per minute, 55.4 KP. 383 gold per minute, that's about 20.6% of the team's gold, and 475 damage per minute, that's like 22.3% of damage. So he does deal a decent amount of damage given the gold he gets, but he definitely is an afterthought on this team. On average, domestically, up 160 gold, 1 CS, 160 XP at 15 minutes, 7 solo kills in 41 games. He played 9 champions, so not a super wide champion pool, not very aggressive. And at international events, I've been talking about it actually. This relates to the CB Lull discussion with Brantz versus Root, and how and how aggression. Actually, this relates to VCS as well. Aggression out of the underdogs is what makes them have a chance. If you play passively, you're just going to lose a slow death. And, I'm not overly excited by Rest's numbers. Internationally, he is 4-8, going to Worlds in 2019 and 2020, only getting through group stage. His stats in those 12 games: 1.3 KDA, 7.8 CS per minute, 53.8 KP. So dies a lot, gets a bit outclassed to say the very least, and doesn't get the farm as a result. 368 gold per minute, 428 damage per minute, and on average at 15 minutes internationally, down 85 gold, 5 CS, 135 XP, only 2 solo kills in 12 games. Below him, we have Gemini, the oldest player on the team, 25 years old, pure facilitator. And I was disappointed, actually, at Worlds 2022 by him. I thought that he would kind of step it up, being a player that we had seen a couple times internationally. Domestically, 4.4 KDA, 4.9 CS per minute, 70.9 KP. So not a lot of farm there, right? That is pure facilitator, gives resources elsewhere. And the KP doesn't reflect as much as I would like of a player that does facilitate. 316 gold per minute, that's 17% of the team's gold, which is funny because we just went over BLG yesterday. 17% versus 19.6%. That's a big difference in resources, right? 2.6% of the gold goes elsewhere on CFO versus where it goes on BLG. 12.4% of the damage. On average, domestically, he's not overly behind at 15 minutes. So in the early game, he does get his gold and then kind of just gives it away the rest of the way. On average, 40 gold up, down 1 CS, up 110 XP, only 2 solo kills in 41 games, 9 champions played as well. Internationally, he's played 13 games, going 2-11. Worlds 2017, he played 1 game and didn't get out of play-ins. And then 2020 and 2022 would drop out in the group stage. In these 13 games, his KDA is bad, 1.1. 4.7 CS per minute, 72.3 KP. So he's been a facilitator for a long time. 291 gold per minute, 238 damage per minute. And on average, and this is very bad, internationally, he's down 680 gold, 12 CS, 586 XP at 15 minutes. He gets blown out internationally. Every game he goes even, there's a game where he's down 24 CS. 5 solo kills in 13 games. In mid lane, we have Jimian. Jimian is a player to watch. Just like Glory when we talked about Team Wales, Jimian, 21 years old, has a lot of hype around him. He puts up really strong numbers. The resources that Gemini gives up, Jimian and Shun end up taking. So 6.2 KDA, 9.2 CS per minute, 67 KP. 435 gold per minute, that's 23.4% of gold. He is clearly the secondary carry on this team. 617 damage per minute, that's 29.5% of the team's damage. These numbers do not vibe in the end. I don't know how this happened, but nevertheless, 29.5% of damage. 240 gold, up at 15 minutes, 2 CS, 185 XP. So that goes to show you, like I said, Gemini keeps up in the first 15 minutes, then gives his gold away. And it is Jimian who is taking that gold, because at 15 minutes, he's not really that far ahead of his lane opponent. In the mid to late game, that's how they allocate resources on this team. 12 solo kills in 41 games, 9 champions played. He is the only player on this team with no international experience. He did play with 100 Thieves Academy a couple of years ago when he was much younger. But 21 years old, this is his first look internationally. 80 carry, we have Shun. Shun also showed some promise at Worlds last year, but then also looked very good this past summer. 5.4 KDA, 10.2 CS per minute, 73.5 KP. 477 gold per minute. He gets 25.7% of the team's gold. 631 damage per minute. This is where it doesn't vibe. 29.3% of the damage. So we'll just say, to make it simpler, because these numbers don't make sense, from Game of Legend. Maybe I misread them. Nevertheless, Jimian and Shun, co-carries on this team. Some teams, I mean, we just went over BLG, right? There is a bit of a diffy between the share of Elk and Yagao, and we see that from other teams as well. This one, those two roles, very close. And then on average, Shun does make a diffy at 15 minutes. He and Shaoxi really, and even, well, yeah, Shaoxi make quite a difference. So 720 gold up, 10 CS, 275 XP at 15 minutes, 1 solo kill. In 41 games, played 10 champions. So this, like I said, this team, not very out of the box, very standard picks in terms of draft, which makes them predictable and hurts them. But Shun is making a big difference. Every game he is 10 up. I mean, every game he goes even. There's a game where he's up 20 CS at 15 minutes. I mean, that's very dominant. This bot lane could pose a problem for some, play-in teams. Internationally, he's 1-5 going to Worlds last year with this squad and playing in group stage. Had a 1.4 KDA, 8.8 CS per minute, 63.1 KP, 413 gold per minute, 417 damage per minute. Down 205 gold, up 10 XP at 15 minutes. So didn't get blown out in laning phase, but was very, very passive, not dealing really any damage at all at the event last year. In his first international experience. We'll see if he could take the next step this year and have a little bit more confidence. Alongside him is Shaoxi. Shaoxi is a former LPL player as well. Played with Flash Wolves in the PCS, which is where his international experience comes from. This past split in the PCS, however, he had a 3.3 KDA, 74.9 KP, and keep in mind, Shun, 73.5. So Shaoxi and Shun together. They are fighting around each other. They are glued at each other's hips. 356 vision score per minute. On average, places 9 to 10 wards every 5 minutes. 3 control wards every 5 minutes. So very ward heavy out of Shaoxi. Clears 2 wards every 5 minutes. And a small champion pool of 7 champions in 41 games. Like I said, internationally, he went to MSI 2019 with Flash Wolves, and dropping out in 5th place, going 6-8. In those 14 games, he had a 1.6 KDA, 69.9 KP. Vision score lacked at 2.26. 1.56, so 7 to 8 wards, almost 8 wards every 5 minutes. A control ward every other minute, and only cleared 1 ward every 5 minutes. So really struggled in getting vision and clearing out vision that in 2019. I mean, that's 5 years ago. or 4 years ago. Shouts, he was 20. Definitely a different time then. We'll see if things have turned around for him. I mean, by this point, he is what he is at 24 years old. But there are some things to like about this team. Very reminiscent of how I felt about Team Wales with Glory and Artemis. We have Jimian and Chun, two very young players with, a lot of promise. And hell, Sparta and BJ on the other team also had some potential and are very young. But nevertheless, this is about CFO. Those two carries need to be the ones to get them out of play-ins if they want a chance in hell. Rest needs to just be okay. And Gemini, I don't know. He's a sinking ship. So that's it for the I did it again. That's it for the video. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord. Become a YouTube supporter. And I hope to see you again tomorrow.